Your driving skills if you have to hit the road this morning, and we want to get a check of what it's like right now outside with the Valley Today's JC Dodd. She's joining us to give a look at those current conditions.
Yes, good morning, Jordan. I'm still here on University Drive South. This wind is blowing in the face, and when that snow hits you in the face, I mean, it hurts. You can feel it. I want you to look down at the sidewalks right now. As you can see just how slick it is when I go through my boots. This snow is compact and it is slick, so please be careful when you're out there walking and getting ready for your day. Cars are hitting the road, getting ready to go to work. Snowplows are still out working to make sure that you can get to work on time. Just make sure you don't rush. Take your time and give yourself time to get there, and make sure when you're stopping, we've seen some cars sliding through intersections we've slid through. Make sure you're giving your time ample time to stop as you're approaching those intersections, and be safe out there. Be prepared for low visibility as this wind is pretty brutal and it's blowing that fresh snow across with snow drift. For now, I'm going to keep watching the road conditions and keeping you updated. Live in Fargo, JC Dodd, Valley News Live.
All right, JC, yeah, on University Drive right by that Sanford and Essentia clinic there. Thank you this morning. And we want to get a check of that forecast of everything that is impacting us this morning. Old Man Winter, he is making quite the return today, Lisa.
Yes, he's coming back with a vengeance here. We're looking at conditions that are tough everywhere on some of our most traveled roads in the valley, and that means those roads that aren't as highly traveled, or maybe that crews don't get to right away, are even worse. And this is our view. My point here is that we've got I-94 in our view here, and you can see the snow on the road surface. This is the Red River Bridge between Fargo and Grand Forks, so please be careful as you're hitting the road here this morning. We've got icy conditions everywhere. It's a level 5 out of 5 tough travel day here, so easy does it, and if you can hold off on travel, I think that's a good idea, especially this morning. So looking at our conditions as we work our way through the morning hours, we'll continue to see snow coming down into the earlier to mid-morning. We'll continue to have that snow. Eventually it does start to taper off. Notice these temperatures staying below freezing for the morning drive, meaning that untreated roads are going to be slick here, anywhere where we're dealing with that. We've got those plows still going by on our DOT or our Skycam here right at the station, our Valley News Live First Alert Storm Team Skycam network at Luther Family Ford. You can see that we've got some snow coming down still. The camera's shaking a bit. So again, take it easy on the roads, as JC was saying. Here's a look at our wind speeds. A gust of 51 in Fargo, 49 in Grand Forks. The winds are strongest right in the heart of the valley. We've got that tunneling or funneling effect, rather, where we're getting that wind directly out of the north. Over to the east as well, we're seeing some strong winds, but maybe not quite as intense, where we've got the tree-lined areas of Minnesota. But everybody's got a windy day ahead. And let's look at our visibility. There are a lot of places reporting visibility that are less than a mile or close to that. Fargo is one of those places. So even in some of our major metros, we've got visibility problems. Open areas, of course, it could be even worse. And we're in Oaks at a quarter-mile visibility. So this is going to be tough, again, as you're stepping out the door this morning and continuing into the day. We've got some isolated areas of snow that will start to taper off gradually, but we're still getting it. A streak here just in the northern valley, a couple more over into northwest Minnesota, some heavier snow over by the Ellendale area, more into northeastern South Dakota. And this is all rotating around that low. So the snow that you see here into Ontario, pushing into the Lake of the Woods area here this morning. So not quite done with this just yet. Our temperatures, again, below freezing. We're all in the 20s, and we'll continue to have that wind, and so are wind chills. You're going to want the heavy coat today. Wind chills are down into the single digits in several spots, so it's going to feel pretty tough out there as you're trying to clear off your vehicles. So looking at our planner today for Fargo, we're going to see that chance for some snow continuing into mid-morning. We could still see some as we go into the afternoon, but it's going to be more isolated. Eventually we'll just be mostly cloudy, and the wind sticks around. The wind out of the north will be steady in the 20s, but gusts will start to come down a little bit more. So we'll be gusting more, instead of the 50s, more into the 30s by the afternoon. So that's an improvement. And here's a look at that. These are our wind gusts for Fargo, going from 50s to 40s by 8 o'clock, and then again back into the 30s by afternoon. And eventually we see those gusts move on, disappear as the system moves off to the east with this round. So today, a tough day, especially for this morning drive. Tomorrow, another round comes. We're looking at that second system moving through, bringing us a few inches of snow possible again on Saturday.
A 1-2 punch here this Friday into the weekend, Lisa.
That's right.
All right, thank you. And she's been talking about how those road conditions are difficult out there. That's led to a lot of school closures or 2-hour lates this morning. So we want to check those road conditions right now for you here this morning. This is the west central, actually, part of Minnesota that we got going on right here. And what's interesting, from when we started this morning at around 5 o'clock when I started looking at this, I-94 east of Fargo, that's this little pink strip, that was previously only partially covered. Now they're saying it's completely covered. We're also getting reports of some accidents that have happened on that road over there, and crews trying to work that out on I-94 just east of Moorhead. We're trying to figure out what's going on there. Detroit Lakes this morning, they went to an entire e-learning day. No in-person learning whatsoever happening there, an e-learning day, and that's because roads around them, we also have completely covered and partially covered there as well. So we want to take a look now and see if there's any crashes that we can actually see here. We're going to go to our road reports. So they're not picking up that one yet on the interstate. I believe it's pretty recent. Over by Wadena, though, in Deer Creek, let's see that. It looks like we have a crash on there. It's on 580th Avenue, 310th Street. Now we want to head on over to the North Dakota Road, see what's happening there. If I can get this to pop on open for me here this morning. All of it in yellow. That is ice compacted and scattered ice that's happening out there. That's the entire region. Now just north of the Fargo Metro on I-29, this has recently just changed in the last couple of minutes as well. It's now gone from ice to snow-covered, even scattered snow drifts. That is north of the Metro here on I-29. That happened within just about the last 15 minutes when the map got updated to that. And there's even some reports of crashes going on there. We have a crash on I-29 near Grandin. We have a crash just west of Fargo as well. Oh, didn't want to bring up that camera there. Wanted to bring up the crash that we have going on. I-94 by, there's an incident there, it looks like. Let's see if I can load her up. It just says expect delays on I-94. It looks like around the Buffalo region. And I know just west of the Metro as well, outside of West Fargo, there's a report of a crash as well. So if you do have to hit the roads this morning, you need to be careful because there is some tricky stuff going on. And new this morning, a deadly 4-car crash on an icy Minnesota highway is a reminder to all of us to use caution as we get used to that winter driving. The State Patrol says at least one person is dead after a driver lost control in St. Louis County, Minnesota yesterday. They crossed the center line and hit an oncoming car. 2 other cars then slid into that crash scene. The car that first lost control was driven by a 32-year-old woman. She had 3 children in the vehicle, ages 6 to 11. Now, one of those children has life-threatening injuries. Troopers plan to release more information on the driver and the children sometime tomorrow. The 3rd child in that crash was not seriously hurt, thankfully. Neither was anyone in any of the other cars. We have breaking local news this morning. A Frazee woman is fighting for her life after being hit by a semi on Highway 34 in Becker County. State troopers say 42-year-old Heather Pila was walking near Height of Land Township around 8 last night, just east of Detroit Lakes, when she was hit. The semi kept going. Troopers say it's a white Volvo. It was pulling a trailer, and it would likely have some passenger side damage. New this morning, the North Dakota House late last night passed a bill that would ban government-ordered COVID-19 vaccine mandates. The state Senate will take up that bill today. Under the plan, companies would still be allowed to instill their own vaccine mandates, but no level of government below the federal government would be able to require documentation of a COVID vaccine. The bill also expands exemptions for employees to opt out of the vaccine, including morals, weekly testing, proof of antibodies, a doctor's note saying the patient is unfit, and others as well. Now, that bill does not apply to health units, prisons, or higher education. Take a look at what can happen with some high winds. In South Dakota yesterday, it took down several semis in the process, including this one. The State Patrol says troopers responded to more than 10 crashes involving semi-trucks that tipped over. High wind warnings are in effect for all of South Dakota today, creating hazardous driving for trucks and other high-profile vehicles. Now, that's the same around this region as well. We're experiencing some pretty intense wind in the Red River Valley. Now, take a look at this. It's something like out of an Old West movie. Some tumblin' tumbleweeds. They hit a neighborhood in Bismarck. Here's the before shot. You see that pile of brush starting to build up behind that white fence. Then take a look at what happens after about 4 hours. Boom, there it is. So many of them. You can't even see the fence anymore. Winds were at about 50 miles an hour at the time. Let's get the answer now to our question of the morning on Facebook. That question is, according to a new survey, 56% of us say Thanksgiving will be ruined if this happens. The answer, don't have any leftovers. We all want that sandwich later on. Remember that Today Show and CBS This Morning are just about to start, but the Valley Today rolls on. We're tracking this winter weather blast on the Fargo CW. Stay safe out there today.